We'll say about pointer operators. So the two operators you'll be using in pointer chapter, that is, one is an asterisk and second one is an ampersand. Okay. So this ampersand is used to fetch starting location address. Ampersand is used to fetch starting location address of a variable. Let's take here, you are having an integer variable a. So where 2 bytes has been allocated for this a. And if the starting address is 1000 and then second is on 1001. Now to fetch this first address, that is 1000, so you got to give it as an ampersand of a. So when I say ampersand of a, it always gives you the first location address, that is 1000. Same way, if you take a float variable, b, so where 4 bytes has been allocated. So for b, 4 bytes has been allocated. Let's assume the starting address is FB00, FB01, FB02, FB03. In that case, if I give an ampersand of b, that gives me this first address, that is nothing but here FB00. So this ampersand always gives the starting location address, whether it is an integer or float. Same way, asterisk is meant to fetch the value of a location where pointer is pointing. Asterisk is meant to fetch, asterisk meant for fetching a value of a location where pointer is pointing. Let's take up, you have an integer variable that is an a and an integer pointer, let's take as an pi. So this a is made up of 2 bytes where you're going to store an integer data. So I'll give here a is equals to 25, then the 25 has been stored here. Same way, asterisk of pi. So pi also is made up of 2 bytes. All pointer is made up of 2 bytes. And I'll make, maybe the starting address of a is 1000 and second location is in 1001, whereas pi will take it as in 2000 and second location 2001. If I want this pi pointer point to this a, then I have to give here pi is equals to ampersand of a. So ampersand of a is going to be 1000, the 1000 will be stored inside this pi. Now this pointer is pointing to 1000 location, and the 1000 location value, that is 25, I would like to fetch. So that you can do it by using asterisk. So if I give here asterisk of pi, it's going to take us nothing but asterisk of pi value. So pi value here it is 1000. So asterisk of 1000 is going to take. So when it is an asterisk of 1000, that's going to give you nothing but, that's going to give you 25. So asterisk is meant for fetching the data of a location where that pointer is pointing. Here the pi pointer is pointing to 1000 location. That location value if you want to fetch, in that case you have to use your pi. Same can be done for any data type. Let's take an example of a float here. So if I take here float x and then asterisk of pf. So x is made up of 4 bytes. So x is made up of 4 bytes and I'll take a pf which is made up of 2 bytes. Okay, so let's assume that starting address of pf is 2000 and second location is 2001. So inside this x, I'll store some floating point value by giving here x is equals to 3.86f. That is, here in this 4 bytes 3.86 has been stored. And I want to make this pf pointer point to this x. That means naturally this starting address has to be stored inside pf. That you can do it by giving here pf is equals to ampersand of x. Ampersand gives the starting address, that's going to be 1000, and the 1000 is been stored inside this pf. So pf is a pointer pointing to x. For x 4 bytes is allocated, whereas for pf only 2 bytes is allocated. So 2 bytes is allocating because it's holding just a single address. Now with this pf, if you want to extract this 3.86, that can be done by using asterisk operator. So you can give here asterisk of pf. So asterisk of PF will be taken as an asterisk of PF data. PF data is 1000, so it's going to be taken as an asterisk of 1000. So this asterisk of 1000 is going to be nothing but from 1000 it will fetch your 4 bytes data. That's going to be a 3.86. So asterisk gives data of a location where that pointer is pointing. This PF is pointing to 1000 location. Here the 1000 location value is 4 bytes. It's going to be a 3.86 will be fetched. Whereas same way in this case, when I give asterisk of PI, so PI is pointing to the 1000 in this case also, here it is going to fetch here. So asterisk gives data of a location where pointer is pointing, whereas ampersand gives starting address of an variable.